Yo, we got another video for you guys, and this one is academics talking about streamers finessing rappers. My take on this is that are streamers finessing rappers? When you think back of it, like, who has the power now these days? Is it the streamer or the rapper? Because a lot of streamers, the numbers aren't really real. A lot of rappers, the numbers aren't really real. So who's finessing who? That's the thing, they're both finessing each other. But let's see what academics has to say about this.
I told you it's the great finesse. The great finesse is this: half the streamers botted their views to look way more lit than they really were. They fooled the rappers who were confused about how to get an audience to run to them to say, well, you have the audience I need, let me get on your stream. This
is spooky. So who is academics talking about? Because there's one or two people academics could be claiming the rappers go to. One is Aiden Ross. Another is Kai Cenat. Those are the big streamers. I mean, Neon, like, come on, like, really? And I think he's kind of saying that some of the rappers are confused. They don't know how streaming works. So all they see is numbers. And they say, like, oh, well, I'll go on this platform and then my numbers will go up. And it went a couple of years ago when academics were saying this was the new metrics. He's a weird dude, academics. He's a weird dude. 1 minute he's saying one thing, next minute he's saying another. I can find a video where he's saying, oh, all the rappers are popping on Kai Cenat's stream because he got the numbers. And when they release a project, it's gonna blow up because all the viewers from Kai Cenat's stream are gonna go and buy that single, or at least a percentage of them. Because rappers, they can't do it by themselves anymore. They need to have a boost. That's what academics were saying. Man, he's still kind of saying that, but he's kind of saying that they're being fooled into going on the streams.
streamers always needed credibility. They needed a co-sign. Most of them don't stand with any big brands or big companies next to them. They needed to stand next to you. Your fans or music fans would come over, watch you do a collab with them. You barely drop music.
I mean, I find it weird because I remember the last time I watched a stream with somebody that was an artist was I think it was Kai Cenat and Ice Spice. Man, that was embarrassing. I think he was trying to make her do a freestyle rap, and this woman cannot rap to save her life. I mean, when it came to her having to do a freestyle, she looked at him and she just turned around and shaked her ass, and I was like, that's the distraction. Imagine, yeah, someone says, can you rap? She just turns around and shakes her ass like okay, we distracted. We're so distracted that she can't rap, really. All she has to do is shake her ass. And that says it all. That just says it all for Ice Spice.
You be on Instagram just living your life. The fans a lot of times stayed if the creator was cool enough, funny enough, or had enough interest, co-interest.
So who is he talking about? Academics. Who is this creator you're talking about? As I said before, I mean, there's probably like 2 or 3 people. So I'm just wondering, who is it? Is it Aiden? Is it Kai? Because I remember way back when, this is maybe 2020, 21. I remember it was 6ix9ine, and 6ix9ine was the guy that was going on these streams. I was like, who's Aiden Ross? So 6ix9ine kind of gave him credibility. Everyone knew who 6ix9ine was. So he was popping on the Aiden Ross stream, and people were watching 6ix9ine, who was on Aiden Ross stream, and no one really knew who Aiden Ross was back then. I mean, I didn't know who he was. I know who he is now, but back 2020, 2021, nah, he wasn't a big name. I mean, he was some dude that I remember that was acting gay with a bunch of artists. Who remembers that? When he would sniff their chair and stuff and do things like that. I thought myself, man, how's he getting these guys on his platform? But even then, he weren't really popping. It was all a finesse of numbers. But they didn't realize that. So they're seeing the numbers there and they're thinking, I'll go on his stream. And he's doing all this gay stuff. And I'm like, man, they're really hanging with this dude? And he's acting all zesty. He's sniffing chairs. I was like, okay. I guess so.
You, the rapper, because these days content is about being served every minute of the day. Chat, I've streamed the last 34 days in a row. And I guarantee there's someone in here that says, yo, Ack, I still watch like 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 channels. Why? We have an insatiable appetite for content. No one watches TV. People, you ever been around a Gen Z? All they do is scroll.
Nobody watches TV. I guess it's true, man, because I have a brother. He barely watches TV. He comes from school, bam, he's on YouTube. And that's the way it is going forward. So we're going to see an erosion of people watching TV, mainstream TV. And what they're going to be watching is YouTube. So they're going to go in the app and they're going to watch nothing but YouTube channels. Because YouTube is the new TV right now. But it's an app form. So if you want to watch anything, Mr. Beast, Neon, academics, you just choose your channel on YouTube. And it's way more entertaining and interactive than you get from just a mainstream normal TV show where you're just watching. You can actually interact with academics and he will interact back with you. Even though he'd be in a big giant mansion, you still feel that you're part of the stream. That's what people like. They like to be part of something. And that's what you feel like when you're in the stream, you're talking to other people, academics will then talk to you. You don't get that from normal TV.
Scroll TikTok just in perpetuity. Insomnia all day, just scrolling TikTok. It's never like, all right, enough content. Like that, woo, that was 2 hours of content. I'm good for the day. It's never ending. So in reality,
it's true as well. It is never ending. I mean, you have to drag some people off of this. My brother, you have to drag him off the phone because it doesn't stop. When I was younger, there would be a certain time period when certain shows were on and certain shows were off. Now it's never ending, so you could never stop scrolling through the shovelware, the bloatware of entertainment and content. It's just constantly there.
You have these fans who are consuming content that want to be entertained all day. So the great finesse was this: the rappers brought their stamp of approval. They brought their celebrityhood, which is kind of like this cosign. And what happens is that when the rapper who has a already established brand through which got there through many hit songs and millions of dollars in promo being pumped into them, when they came over to the streamer, anything that happens on the streamer's platform makes all the news. It's trending on Twitter, every blog posted. So it was an easy way for streamers to get thrusted. Like, now you're on the shade room. Oh wow,
he's got it there. He's figured out the matrix that they had. And this is what they were doing. I realized that they were doing a long time ago, because as I said before, I had ever heard of Aiden Ross, and I remember the first time I seen a rapper kind of like collabing with the streamer was 6ix9ine Aiden Ross. I was like, who's this dude? And I think that, I can't remember, it was like, I think 6ix9ine was probably dating his sister or something other like that. And it kind of went like mainstream news. People were talking about it, and it worked. You know, Academics is right, it worked.
That's exposure.
Got the exposure he wanted.
The exposure was never really the other way around, but the rappers thought it was.
And see what happened with 6ix9ine. He's one of those dudes, like, I think he tricked other rappers into collabing with someone like Aiden Ross. So I ain't no beef with Aiden Ross, but when they saw him on the platform and he got the exposure, and what 6ix9ine was doing, he was kind of warmish. He comes on, does the stream, and he releases a song. It does okayish good numbers. Other rappers are seeing like, oh yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to buck on the stream with this dude. They see the inflated viewership. Cause we know they're all bots right now. And they're thinking, oh yeah, we kinda cold right now. If we go on a stream with someone like Aiden Russ or Kai Cenat, they're gonna help my numbers. That's what they thinking.
Yo, you have 20,000 people? Oh, let me come over here. That person really had 3,000. They botted it.
Well, I was just saying, man, they're bots. They are bots. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of streamers are botting their viewership. Because when you actually look into the interaction on the stream, because I've been in a stream, like I went into a Neon stream, I went to the Aiden stream, and it's dead quiet. To a point where he's like, hey chat, what do you want me to do? You want me to play some Spider-Man? I was like, man, why is the chat so quiet? And there'd be like maybe 44,000 people in there. I'm like, man, this chat's meant to be buzzing, like constantly scrolling. The chat's meant to be so fast that you can't even read it. The chat was like slow. It was really slow. I was like, man, are these real people?
You went over there, you brought your audience, you did some stuff, now you're acting even out, you're giving content. Fans stayed for the content while most of the rappers fleeced or just left it. You can't name me one rapper besides maybe Jello, if we're gonna call him a rapper, that came to a streamer's platform and left with some substantial equity of saying, I got on that platform and now I have seen how I could turn that into what I'm selling. Remember this, rappers sell music. Rappers sell music. Streamers sell attention. Now granted, attention is the bigger currency because music is attention too. But music is a particular type of attention.
Zeg eindelijk dag tegen je emmer.
Okay. He's got a good point there. You do need attention. That's why you got like someone like 6ix9ine again. I'd like hate to give him an example. He will do things in such a way where he would get your attention, then he'll release a single. Like he'll run into Meek Mill, he'll film it, and then he'll be like, yo, I'll release this. I will release this as the promo, and then I'll release the single. You know, get where I'm coming from? Like, but it's one of those weird parallels where you kind of wonder who's actually finessing who. Because sometimes you get someone like, I think it was Playboy Cardi, and he would go on the Aiden stream, and they said Aiden would be like, oh yeah, we paid for him to go on the stream, and he'll sit down there all masked up and he barely say anything. I'm like, man, you got finessed, Aiden, because he barely said anything. I remember that stream. I was like, it was meant to be a big deal. He came on the stream and he didn't do much, if not anything at all. And people actually thought this was somebody pretending to be him, because he's kind of one of those artists that are really mysterious.
The streamers won the great finesse of 2025. If we look back at all the big collabs, you can't tell me that any rapper, any celebrity got more out of it than the streamer did. Most streamers hit their highest peaks. Most streamers got the visibility they needed to get brand deals, which was tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. They benefited from being next to those rappers, celebrities, footballers, everybody. Cool. Now, that's where these thoughts came from. I realized that, you know, even down to like the Atlanta stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember watching Young Thug on stream, and I was like, "Is this the guy?" Yo, there was a time Young Thug had like this quote unquote. We didn't call it that at the time. It was aura and mystique. He had it in a chokehold.
Yeah, I agree with the Young Thug thing, because we didn't know anything about this guy too much. And it was a point where we know he could rap, but there was this point where people thought he was gay. And still to this day, there's some people out there see this guy in a dress and think he was gay. There's even one time where he had this music video and there was gay porn on the music video. In the background there was like some gay porn. People were like, what's going on with this dude? And there was a mystique about like, is he gay, is he not gay? He wouldn't come out and say like, yo, I'm not gay. But you see him on an album cover in a dress. And you're like, well, what's this all about? But that was weird. But it kind of gave into this mystique, because for me, I'm thinking that these guys signed some sort of devil contract and they are trying to appeal to loads of different fans. So that was the mystique that he had, where he ain't gay, but he want to appeal to gay people that like rap. I know it's a weird thing to think about, but that's what I was thinking. And they'll be like, oh yeah, he's one of us, he's one of the gays, and he's like low down gay. Because there's some people out there that are down low gay, but don't openly say it. There's people out there. So I thought he was one of those people who's gonna be like, wink wink, yeah, I'm gay, I dress in dresses and stuff like that. And also rap, I'm like Omar from The Wire. And that was the mystique about Young Thug. Nobody knows to this day. But it's like, I think at them trying to say now, every rapper now is going to these streamers to co-sign themselves. When they come out of prison or something, they go to a streaming platform and they feel like that it's like a rite of passage right now to go on a Kai Cenat stream, an Aiden stream. And that just blows you up a bit. And I feel like he's trying to say that they kind of been fooled a bit, where the streamers have used them and they're thinking they're using the streamers, which is, it's funny. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'm out.